Hello and welcome to Liza P. I'm Shadow Coast and welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to review the controls and commands for mouse and keyboard playing this game. Now, when you first start the game, I actually didn't notice this somehow until more recently. In the top right there, you actually see a lot of the basic commands. So we have escape, which is going to open up the menu, which we can then use our mouse on. In here, we can access our equipment, so we're going to gather different weapons and other assortments of amulets, arms, etc. We have our bag. This is the stuff on our person. We can actually store stuff later to make it easier. We have character info, so these are all our stats, our level. We'll be leveling up using ergo. You can also see how much ergo you have, your weight of what you're carrying. And then finally, we have our over here our menu. So if we're looking to exit, we can do that. It's also helpful to see the keyboard and mouse settings here. If you just want to go through and scroll through and or change anything based off your playstyle, I also recommend checking out the guide. All right, so here in the top right, we're going to run through these really quickly. Then we'll outline some basic combat. So left shift is guard. You're going to want to try to time this right. It can be a little bit annoying, especially against power-up attacks. Those are enemies that turn red, and if you hit it right, you can then effectively stagger them or then riposte, do a little more extra damage. Space is dodge, so if you tap WASD, which is the movement, basic movement, and then mouse is look. Um, but if you tap space bar, you're going to roll in the direction that you're clicking WASD, and then if you're not clicking any of it, you'll just kind of hop backwards. So I'm not clicking any WASD and just tapping spacebar. Also, conversely, you're going to want to run at times. If you hold down spacebar, you can then run. They're calling it dash, but you're basically running. You'll see in the top left here our second to um, bar there in green. That's our stamina. So that depletes when we run or dodge. So keep that in mind. Middle mouse button will allow you to lock on to enemies. So we have an enemy up there, enemy down here. So physically clicking down on the middle mouse button will allow you to do that. Extra bag. So if you hold down E, then you can bind 1, 2, 3, 4 quick items here. This is helpful if you want some more focus or healing or other items to use. So keep that in mind. You'll eventually gather more weapons. So if you take a look here on our equipment, we might have we have a second weapon slot. So we're gonna tap uh, tab, switch weapons, and then we can also I think switch arms potentially with X. I haven't gone far enough to explain that. Z will allow us to walk versus kind of jog. Again, that's not dashing or sprinting, which one you have to hold down spacebar to do. Alright, so let's get to some more of the basics in combat. Left mouse button, if you tap, is your quick attack. Right mouse button, you can tap and do a regular attack, or you can hold down to do kind of a combo double strong attack. So one thing to note is that when you hold down, you don't just keep attacking. You have kind of a combination. So if you tap right mouse button, that's one swing. If you hold it down, you do two swings, which is kind of your power attack or strong attack. Tapping middle mouse button, as I mentioned before, are going to select enemies. So you just keep tapping it down and it'll rotate them. And then if you want to use your arm of steel, that actually does decent damage early game here. You can hold it down or you can tap it, but in the bottom left there, you're going to see that it is a diminishing return. You can't just infinitely keep punching people with your mechanical arm. Alright, T and G are going to allow you to switch between three primary items. So T up here, this is going to be, our top item will be our default heal item. We click R to then use the item. I'm not going to do that. G will cycle down. We have weapon durability. So if our weapon starts kind of falling off, holding down R, we can grind it. This will also attract the attention of enemies. So if we want to kind of pull people to us, I believe that's a good way to do it. So we will science that a little bit here in a second. So T and G cycle through. Tap G again. We'll cycle through your kind of third one. You have your little lamp that's going to talk to you. I recommend at least keeping it on early game. You will be seen, but it makes things a lot easier to see because there are a lot of dark areas here. So keep that in mind. And then down here, we have F, which is our. I just used all the stuff I built up, which was dumb. But that's our kind of focus power attack. You're going to want to use F when the major enemies have a little white bar over their head because it's going to deal extra damage to them. So where the health bar of the enemy is, when it turns white, you're going to want to use F or Shift F, which is kind of pommel attack, which I can't do because I leveraged it all. All right, let's just talk about HUD real quick. Top left, the first bar is our health. Second bar is our stamina. Third bar is our charge of, I believe it's called focus. Am I referencing the right thing? Let me see. Um, Fable shot. It's Fable shot is what it is. So you're charging your Fable shot. Excuse me. Down there at the bottom left are going to be kind of our quick items to use. T and G will rotate quickly through them. R activates it. So here I'm turning it on and tapping it on. And then bottom left will be how much you have for your left arm of steel. It actually is pretty effective. Angle matters. So like example, if the enemy's standing like right here in front of me, it's going to be harder to hit him because you can see my right arm attack keeps getting stuck on the box. So sometimes it'll be good just to punch someone with your left arm. Bottom right is your Fable shot. Charge up, you can click F or Shift F for two different Fable shots. You can see that the right one uses one, I think, Fable shot, while the left one uses three. I haven't figured out what the little scale means there because I haven't actually used that yet. And then top right is your ergo. That is your currency to level up. To level up, you are going to want to run over here and talk to one of these things. They're called stargazers, and if you click on level up, you can level up your stats, which you're going to want to do very quickly, among other things. So you're going to see the ergo required. Make sure that you level up. The other thing you can do here is storage. One of the things that's interesting is I stored all this stuff, but every time you kind of look at it, it seems to just go back in your pouch, so keep that in mind. I like to store stuff because I don't want to lose it if I die. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I haven't died yet because I'm taking it slow, just learning the game. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please drop a thumbs up and hope to see you in future videos. Shout out, Ghost out.